Hello and welcome to our summer course, ECON 430 Environmental Economics, or the economics of the environment and natural resources. We'll be together for 5 weeks. It'll be online and there will be recorded lectures. So you'll be seeing me talking. Some of the lectures are from previous semesters. So if things haven't changed in a big way, which is generally true of environmental economics, the same principles, the same tools. I'm reusing some of those old lectures. So I may have less gray hair in some of the videos if they're from a couple years ago. You may see my dog or even my kids in some of the videos. I try to keep them fairly short and post more of them as opposed to recording long lectures and posting that, because that's a lot for all of us, I know, to sit through. I'll also be posting lecture slides from each chapter. So our book by Field and Field, Environmental Economics, it's a good book, and it's really important with an online class that you have the book, that you read the book, that you follow along. This is not quite the same as the old days when a course like this would be almost a correspondence course, and you would have a book and I would send you something, you would answer questions and write things and send it to me and I would grade it. That's how things were done back in the old days, before my time as well. Now with an online course, we're obviously able to communicate in more ways than back in the day. But what remains is that when we're in a non-traditional class like this, the book is extra important. Now, it doesn't have to be the newest version. You can have an older version, that's fine. But it is important to have the book and to read it, to follow along. That's how you're getting a lot of the material in a course like this. My lectures are not intended to substitute for what's in the book. My lectures are meant to supplement it. They are complements, not substitutes, using economic language, right? I love teaching this class. I love this subject matter. It is something that I've been interested in since I was young. I grew up in a farming family in Michigan, and so I saw and lived environmental issues and the choices that get made dealing with these trade-offs. Do we clear this section of woods to plant another asparagus field there? How do we handle the water runoff from this piece of property? Do we, make a kind of a canal? Do we leave some fields that is planted in a way to handle a lot of water? Choices like that are made every day by all kinds of people, not just farmers, but people in the construction industry and different forms of business, and certainly in industrial settings, for your classic example of a factory that's sending smoke out a smokestack and effluent out a water pipe into a stream. So we'll use those examples. I'll use farming examples, and some, household or, a small business, a laundromat, something like that. Thinking about these trade-offs between environmental quality and economic activity. And so one of the key takeaways I'm hoping that you all have is, when you are done with this class, after these 5 weeks this summer, you'll think about environmental issues in terms of that sort of trade-off, because it's kind of the heart of how we think analytically about these topics. Is we think about how cutting down a forest, you may think of that as good, or you may think of that as tragic. And what's important is to think about, what are the good things about that? What are the bad things about that? What do we get from it? And what does it cost us? What are we giving up? And recognizing that kind of trade-off that's inherent in all of these decisions, whether big or small, is going to be the first step in kind of setting up the systematic way of thinking about these things, which is one of the real things that economists can bring to the table when it comes to environmental issues like that. A little bit of course logistics. I'm going to be posting, as I said, recorded lectures and lecture slides. I'm going to be posting a homework each week. And so on the syllabus, you'll see, each week we move through about 3 chapters in the book. So we're reading quite a bit. We're going through a fair amount of activity. That's what happens with a compressed timeline for something like a summer term. But each week you'll be submitting a homework assignment. There will also be a quiz dealing with the material. And so most of those quizzes are going to be multiple choice. They're going to be on Blackboard. And there's a final paper at the end. And so my advice from the get-go is don't let yourself get too far behind on material, because at the end we're dealing with not only our weekly quizzes and homework, but also a final paper. And so I'll be posting more information about that. And I look forward to seeing submissions. The first homework is going to ask you guys to tell me some about yourselves. So I look forward to getting to know you if I haven't had you already. I see some familiar names. I would say familiar faces, but I haven't seen you yet. So good to have some of you back who I've had before. I will leave it there for now and see you guys soon.